Let's get to work.
Come, your masters of war. Hear the bells of big guns. Hear the hide behind walls.
30 seconds.
And you turn and run farther when the fast bullets cry.
I love a good old-fashioned rivalry. Coke and Pepsi, Superman and Batman, Battlefield and Call of Duty. It brings out the best in both worlds. For the latter though, it's been feeling a little one-sided as of late. Ever since the disastrous launch of Battlefield 2042, Call of Duty kinda swooped in and took the crown as the most popular console FPS, and it proudly held that title for a little more than 4 years. But this year, it all changes with the recent Battlefield 6, a much-needed return to form to the golden age of Battlefield, to show us why it was king of the multiplayer FPS to begin with. But does Battlefield have what it takes to make it back on top? Or is it too little, too late? When a PMC called Pax Armada destabilizes the globe by fracturing the NATO alliance, an elite task force known as Dagger is formed to put an end to the chaos. To end World War III. Huh. Well, that sounds kind of familiar. First off, much like the premise, the campaign leaves much to be desired. In terms of visual and scale, it blew me away far past what I was expecting. This is the most cinematically intriguing FPS campaign I've seen in recent years. It's a true return to the chaotic and destructive nature of Battlefield. Enormous car chases, chaotic vehicle combat, a freaking dam collapsing around you. It pretty much has it all. Combine that with every mission giving you the tools and breathing room to experiment with every individual class and prepare you for the multiplayer, and you're pretty much all set. What could go wrong? Well, a few things actually. For starters, for a giant PMC that destabilized global peace, they sure act like they collectively have -5 brain cells. In fact, I think everyone desperately needed a crash course on how not to walk directly towards a group of hostiles, or waste an entire armory of ammo shooting into thin air. If you managed not to pull your hair out in frustration, you'd realize that this story doesn't really add anything we haven't seen before. Unlike Call of Duty, which has such an iconic single-player cast and the likes of Captain Price or Mason, Battlefield has generic Soldier A and generic Soldier B. If you're looking for anything beyond the scripted superficial narrative that does little beyond destroy this objective or defend this area before witnessing a giant explosion or something big collapsing, then you're probably not going to find it anywhere in this surprisingly short 6-hour campaign. Some may say that's a huge negative, but honestly, it doesn't really need to be anything more than that. Besides, we're really here for the multiplayer, and boy oh boy, did EA finally deliver. Like we mentioned in our first impressions on the beta, Battlefield 6 does away with the character-based specialist mechanics from 2042 and brings back the good old classic class system we all know and love. Want to go in for a full frontal engagement? Head on over to Assault and turn the tides. Looking to take out any vehicle impeding your team's progress while keeping yours in tip-top shape? Then you might want to look at Engineers. Looking to support the squad and keep everyone alive? Then support is the way to go. But if you much rather stay back and pick them off from afar, grab that recon kit and traumatize the enemy with your sniper glint. No matter what playstyle you have, Battlefield 6 has you covered. They finally managed to recapture that perfect mix of total destructive chaos and large-scale military combat that made the series shine above the rest. At no time was I ever bored or underwhelmed with what was going on. There was so much chaos and destruction going around that I genuinely had no place to even breathe without the sound of bullets whizzing past me or something coming down around me. That isn't to say that's without its faults, however. Most of the maps feel extremely small and condensed compared to what the previous titles had to offer. It works for some of the smaller game modes and enhancing the overall chaotic nature of things, but overall, it makes me miss those huge giant areas that mold and change the longer the game goes on, or as more parts of the area gets destroyed. It's a real shame too, because some of these maps could definitely use a bit of a makeover. Besides that, the lingering glitches and issues that plague the beta still made its way to the final release. Thankfully, these are few and far between, most likely to be completely gone after a patch or two. Battlefield 6 isn't perfect, but it's a far improvement for the series. It brings the series back into the spotlight and shows us that it's not going anywhere anytime soon. The campaign might dip heavily in the cliche bargain bin, but the multiplayer is where the chaos and the fun truly shine, even if it gets scaled back a bit. Battlefield 6 locks and loads itself a 9 out of 10.